Love can feel like trying to juggle chainsaws. It's chaotic, it can cut deep, and sometimes it seems like a risky venture. But when you find that sweet spot, oh boy, it's a thrill worth the danger. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where we explore life's biggest mysteries, sprinkle in some humor, and keep it as authentic as that one friend who always tells you when you have spinach in your teeth. If you've ever felt like the universe is throwing curveballs in your love life, you've landed in the right place. Before we jump in, do me a favor. Smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications. Trust me, your future self will appreciate it when you're binge-watching these gems instead of getting frustrated waiting for someone to reply. Now, let's dive into the topic at hand. Relationships, am I right? They can feel like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube while blindfolded, perplexing, tricky, and often just out of reach. We've all experienced it. One moment, everything seems perfect, like you're on cloud nine, and the next, it feels like you're trapped in a reality show called What Did I Do Wrong? Sound familiar? Yeah, I get it, my friends. Maybe you're at that stage where you're thinking, what's the point? This is draining. And let me tell you, you're not alone. We've all had those moments when love feels like attempting to fit a square peg in a round hole. Some days, it's tempting to just walk away, throw in the towel, and forget about the whole thing. But what if I said there's another path? A way to navigate the chaos, rewrite your narrative, and perhaps even turn things around before you decide to swipe left on humanity altogether. Let me share something that could shift your outlook. And no, this isn't going to be one of those just be yourself speeches because, let's face it, if that worked, we wouldn't need advice, right? What I have for you is a blend of timeless wisdom, some comical insights, and a whole lot of encouragement to remind you that you're not as lost as you think. Think of it this way. Giving up on love is like abandoning your favorite video game because you hit a tough boss. Sure, you could rage quit, but imagine the satisfaction of finally conquering it. That's what we're aiming for, getting you back in the arena, feeling empowered, and maybe even having a bit of fun along the way. So stick with me, folks, because we're just getting started. By the end of this video, you'll not only gain a fresh perspective, but you'll also walk away with a few strategies to make this love journey feel a lot less like a drama and more like a romantic comedy. Let's go! Now comes the interactive part. If you're vibing with what we're discussing and you're ready to shake off the doubts and frustrations, let's make it official right here, right now. Type, "I'm back in the arena," in the comments below. Yes, claim it like you mean it. Because guess what? This isn't just about attracting someone else, it's about inviting the best version of yourself to shine. And if you're feeling bold, and I know you are, hit that like button while you're at it. Think of it as your way of saying, I've got this, and don't stop there. This is the kind of message that someone else out there needs to hear. Share this video with a friend, an ex, well, maybe not that ex, or anyone who could use a little boost today. Together, we're rewriting the narrative, flipping the script, and turning those dating woes into a comeback saga for the ages. Let's do this. Why does love sometimes feel like an endless tug of war? Sometimes it's like playing hide and seek, except they forgot they're supposed to look for you, right? You're out there making an effort, waving your metaphorical flag, and they're off doing who knows what. It's frustrating, it's tiring, and let's be honest, it makes you want to scream into a pillow, or maybe even toss your phone into the nearest ocean. We've all sat by our phones, refreshing that app like it's going to reveal the secrets of the universe, or at least a reply from them, anxiously awaiting that one text, that one alert, that one tiny sign they're thinking about you as much as you're thinking about them. And when it doesn't come, oh, it stings, doesn't it? It's like ordering your favorite dish at a restaurant and watching everyone else's food arrive while yours remains a mystery. Here's the reality of modern relationships. They often feel like a never-ending game of tug-of-war. One moment, it seems like you're both pulling together, working to keep the connection strong. The next, you're the only one holding the rope while they've wandered off to who knows where. That imbalance, it messes with your mind. But let's unpack this a bit. Why does it feel this way? Why does love, which should be uplifting, sometimes feel like dragging a heavy load uphill? Here's why. Fear sneaks in and whispers lies into our heads. We fear rejection. We fear not being enough. We fear that if we stop trying, stop chasing, stop putting our all into this person, we'll lose them for good. And fear? Fear is like a faulty GPS, constantly rerouting you to dead ends and making you second-guess every move. You've probably thought, if I just try a little harder, give a little more, maybe they'll finally see my worth. My friends, that's fear talking, and fear, it's a terrible matchmaker. Let me ask you this, have you ever gone fishing with the wrong bait? You cast your line repeatedly, watching the fish swim by without so much as a glance. That's what it feels like when you're trying so hard to get their attention, but it's just not happening. The more effort you put in, the less they seem to notice. Why? Because desperation isn't appealing. It's exhausting for both you and them. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Let that sink in for a moment. You don't have control over whether they text back, show interest, or suddenly recognize how incredible you are. But you do have control over how you respond to their actions, or lack thereof. Now, I know what you're thinking, but it's so hard to let go. What if they never come back? What if this is my only chance? Listen carefully. That mindset, that scarcity mentality, is what holds you back. It's like clutching sand in your hand. The tighter you squeeze, the more it slips through your fingers. Love isn't something you can force, control, or demand. It's something that flows naturally when the energy is right. I'm not saying it's easy. Oh no, it's not. Walking away from fear and scarcity takes courage. It's like stepping into a dark room without knowing where the light switch is. But here's the thing. When you start trusting yourself, when you stop clinging to fear, you'll find that the light is within you. You don't need someone else to flip that switch for you. Right now, you might feel like love is something you have to fight for, like it's a constant struggle to prove your worth, to gain their attention, to be seen. But what if I told you love isn't about proving anything? What if it's about being yourself, being confident, and being someone who knows their value and won't settle for less? Think about it. A magnet doesn't chase. It doesn't beg for attention. It simply exists, and the right things are naturally drawn to it. That's you. When you stop pursuing, when you stop investing energy in someone who isn't reciprocating, you become magnetic. And believe me, that's when the dynamics start to shift. They'll notice, they'll wonder, and they'll feel the difference in your energy. Suddenly that person who couldn't prioritize you might start questioning why they're no longer a priority for you. But here's the catch, and I want you to truly absorb this. You might reach a point where you don't even care if they notice, because by then you'll have shifted your focus. You'll be building yourself up, reclaiming your time, energy, and self-worth. And that, my friends, is the real win. So here's your affirmation for today. I am magnetic. I am worthy of love and respect. I release fear and trust in my own power. Write it in the comments, shout it from the rooftops, or whisper it to yourself before you drift off to sleep tonight. Keep saying it until you truly believe it. Show yourself, show the world, and yes, even show them that you're not playing games anymore. And trust me, we're just getting started. This is only the beginning of flipping the script. Stick around because what's coming next could be the key to unlocking the dynamics you've been searching for. You won't want to miss it. Why do we cling to something even when it feels like it's slipping away? Holding on to someone who's ignoring you is like watering a plastic plant. It might look like effort, but let's be honest, nothing's actually growing. Yet here you are, hoping that one day, somehow, those leaves will turn green and flourish. And hey, no judgment, we've all been there. Sometimes our hearts are so stubborn they could outlast a rock. Let's take a closer look at why we do this. Why we hold on even when it seems like we're losing our grip. Why do we invest our time, energy, and sometimes our dignity into someone who offers so little in return? It's not because we're foolish, it's because we're human. You're still hanging on because you see potential. Deep down, you believe there's something worth fighting for, and maybe there is. But here's the catch. How you fight matters. Love isn't supposed to be a battleground where you're the only soldier. It's a partnership, not a rescue mission. Still, we convince ourselves that if we just try harder, give a little more, and prove our worth, they'll finally come around. But what's really happening here? Let me tell you, it's fear, plain and simple. Fear of rejection, fear of starting over, fear of what their absence might mean for your future. It's like gripping a rope that's burning your hands, but you're too frightened to let go because you think falling would be worse. Spoiler alert, it's not. Sometimes letting go isn't the end. It's the beginning of something better. But in the moment, fear clouds your vision. Seneca once said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor." And isn't that exactly what's happening here? You're craving their attention so much that you've forgotten your own worth. You've tied your happiness and sense of value to their approval, and it's draining you. But here's the truth you need to hear today. Your worth isn't negotiable. It doesn't rise or fall based on someone else's acknowledgement. Let's break this down with a little humor. Imagine you're in a restaurant ordering a dish you don't even enjoy because you're convinced the chef might get it right next time. Sound absurd? That's because it is. Yet when it comes to relationships, we often do the same, sticking around, hoping that someday the flavor will change. But let's be honest, if it hasn't changed by now, it probably won't. What makes it so tough to let go? Hope. Hope is a powerful force, isn't it? It's like a flashlight in a dark tunnel. It keeps you moving forward, but sometimes that flashlight is pointing in the wrong direction, leading you deeper into a maze. That's when you need to take a step back, breathe, and ask yourself, am I holding on to them? Or am I holding on to who I wish they could be? There's a significant difference between loving someone for who they are and loving the potential of who you think they could become. One is real, the other is a fantasy. And the more you chase the fantasy, the more you lose sight of yourself. Now, I know what you're thinking, but what if they just need a little more time? What if they're going through something? And maybe they are. But here's the deal. You can't put your life on hold waiting for someone else to hit play. If they're not ready, that's their journey to navigate, not your burden to bear. Let me give you a metaphor to chew on. Holding on to someone who isn't giving you what you need is like clutching a ticket to a concert that's already been cancelled. Sure, you have the ticket, but there's no music, no crowd, no show. At some point, you need to ask yourself, why am I still holding on to this? But here's the silver lining. You're stronger than you realize. Letting go doesn't mean you're giving up. It means you're making space. Space for someone who's ready. Space for someone who recognizes your worth without you needing to prove it. And most importantly, space for yourself to breathe, grow, and thrive. So, let me ask you this. What would it feel like to finally release the rope? To stop exhausting yourself trying to hold on to something or someone who isn't holding on to you? Imagine the relief, the lightness, the freedom. That's what awaits you on the other side of fear. Here's your affirmation for today. I let go of what doesn't serve me. I honor my worth, my energy, and my time. I trust that what is meant for me will find its way to me. Write it in the comments, folks. Say it out loud, show yourself, and show the world that you're not afraid to release what's weighing you down. And don't go anywhere, because this journey isn't over yet. Coming up next, we'll explore how to flip the script and make them realize what they've been missing. You won't want to miss this. Have you ever noticed that the more you pursue something, the further away it seems to drift? It's like trying to catch a butterfly. It flits just out of reach every time you extend your hand. But the moment you sit still, calm and grounded, that same butterfly might just land on your shoulder. Relationships often work in a similar way. Now picture this. You're a flame. When you're burning brightly, you don't need to chase the moth. It's drawn to you naturally. But here's the catch. You can't burn brightly if you're constantly trying to ignite someone else's candle while neglecting your own. Chasing not only dims your light, but also disrupts the balance in a way that's unhealthy for everyone involved. It's draining, isn't it? Let's be real for a moment. Chasing feels instinctive because we've been conditioned to believe that effort equals results. In work, in school, in many aspects of life, persistence pays off. But relationships, they don't operate on that principle. Chasing doesn't lead to recognition. It often leads to being taken for granted. It's like standing in the middle of a busy street, waving your arms frantically to get noticed, only to have everyone else overlook you because you're trying too hard. So what should you do instead? Shift the dynamic. Stop chasing and start focusing on becoming so irresistible, so magnetic, that they can't help but take notice. Here's how. First, create a little mystery. I'm not talking about playing games or ghosting. This isn't about manipulation. It's about stepping back and letting them wonder about you a bit. When you're always available, always initiating conversations, always explaining yourself, there's no room for curiosity. Let them miss you. Let them ponder what you're up to. Remember, people are naturally drawn to what they don't fully understand. Second, focus on becoming the best version of yourself. And no, that doesn't mean pretending to love yoga or suddenly becoming someone else to impress them. It means embracing your passions, your interests, and the things that genuinely excite you. When you're living a life that brings you joy, you radiate confidence and authenticity. And let me tell you, that's the kind of energy people can't resist. Plus, it shifts the power dynamic. You're no longer waiting for their acknowledgement. You're too busy enjoying your own life. Now I know what some of you are thinking, but what if they don't care? What if they don't notice? Here's the truth. If they don't notice, they were never truly invested in the first place. And while that might sting for a moment, it's also liberating. Because once you realize their attention doesn't define your worth, you're free to focus on those who do value you. But let's be honest, most of the time they do notice, and when they do, they'll start to wonder, why aren't they pursuing me anymore? Did they meet someone else? What's going on in their life that I don't know about? That curiosity plants a seed, and suddenly they're reaching out, liking your posts, or trying to regain your attention. The roles have reversed, and now they're questioning what they've been missing. Let me give you a quick metaphor to wrap this up. Think of yourself as a buffet. If you pile everything on your plate at once, it's overwhelming, and half the food loses its appeal. But if you take your time, savoring one dish at a time, suddenly every bite feels special. That's how you need to approach your energy. Don't give it all away at once. Let them appreciate every bit of what you have to offer. Here's your affirmation for today. I am in control of my narrative. I don't chase, I attract. I create space for what's intended for me, and I trust that I am enough. Drop it in the comments, my friends. Say it loud, say it proud. Show yourself, show them, and show the world that you're flipping the script and reclaiming your power. And don't go anywhere yet, because next, we'll delve into Stoic wisdom that can make you completely unshakable on this journey. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Stoicism is like having the ultimate poker face, my friends. Even when the stakes are high, you're calm, composed, and utterly unfazed. And let me tell you, that kind of energy is magnetic. Why? Because people are drawn to those who remain steady amidst chaos. It's like being the calm center in a storm, grounded, centered, and unflappable, while everything else swirls around you. That's the power of Stoicism. So how can this help you attract without even trying? It's simple. When you stop attempting to control others and start focusing on mastering yourself, you send a message that resonates louder than words. That message: I'm solid, I'm enough, and I don't need anyone else to validate my worth. Trust me, nothing is more appealing than someone who recognizes their value and doesn't feel the need to chase what's fleeting. Let's take a step back and break this down. Why does detachment work so well? Because it transforms the dynamic. Instead of pouring all your energy into seeking their attention, you're channeling that energy into yourself. And here's the kicker. When you're not constantly seeking their validation, they start to notice. Your unbothered energy creates a curiosity that pulls them toward you. Epictetus, one of the founding Stoics, said it best: "He who is not a slave to his desires is truly free." Imagine how attractive that kind of freedom is to others. When you're not chasing, not clinging, and not constantly needing affirmation, you exude a quiet confidence that's hard to overlook. It's like entering a room with an aura that says, "I'm here because I choose to be, not because I have to be." And let's be honest, who doesn't find that intriguing? Now, let's chat about how to put this into action. Stoicism isn't just a philosophy, it's a toolkit for navigating life, love, and everything in between. Here are a few practical steps to help you embrace Stoic principles and amplify your natural magnetism. First, embrace the present moment. Instead of overanalyzing outcomes, stop living in the what-ifs and start focusing on the what is. When you're fully present, you're not worried about whether they'll text back or if they're thinking of you. You're too busy enjoying your own life. And that presence, it's contagious. People can sense when you're genuinely in the moment, and it draws them in like a magnet. Next, detach from the need for their attention. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop clinging. It's like holding sand in your hand. The tighter you hold it, the more it slips away. But when you loosen your grip, it stays. When you let go of the need for constant validation, you reclaim your power. You're no longer giving them control over your emotions, and that sense of independence is irresistibly attractive. Finally, embody confidence even in uncertainty. Confidence isn't about having all the answers. It's about being okay with not knowing. It's standing tall even when the path ahead is murky. And here's the amusing part about confidence. It has a ripple effect. When you believe in yourself, others start to believe in you too. It's like wearing an outfit that makes you feel fantastic. If you feel great in it, everyone else notices. Here's a little metaphor for you. Think of yourself as a lighthouse. You don't chase the boats, they find you. You stand tall, shining your light, and the right vessels will navigate their way to you. That's what Stoic detachment is about. Staying grounded, staying centered, and letting what's meant for you come naturally. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, but if I let go, won't they forget about me? Here's the reality. If they forget about you because you're not chasing, they were never truly invested in the first place. And while that might sting initially, It's actually a blessing in disguise. It frees you to focus on someone who values you for who you are, not for what you can do for them. So let's wrap this up with a Stoic affirmation. I release the need to chase. I am whole as I am. I trust that what is meant for me will come to me in its own time. Write it in the comments, my friends. Say it out loud, jot it down, and make it your mantra as you step into your power. And don't go anywhere just yet, because next, we're diving into how to turn the tables completely, how to make them miss you, wonder about you, and maybe even pursue you. You won't want to miss this. Let's discuss what happens when you stop pursuing and start stepping back. Spoiler alert, it's not about losing them, it's about gaining clarity, power, and maybe even their attention. Because let's be real, nothing shifts the dynamic faster than your absence. Trust me, folks, it's like the internet going down. Suddenly, you're all they can think about. Here's the deal. When you've been putting in all the effort, constantly reaching out or trying to make things happen, you're not giving them the chance to feel your absence. People notice absence. It's like when you stop chasing the cat and suddenly it's curled up in your lap, acting like you're the only thing that matters. People aren't that different. Stepping back creates space. Space for them to miss you, to ponder about you, and most importantly, to recognize what life feels like without your presence. And let me tell you, if you've been showing up with love, care, and effort, they will notice when you're not around. That shift can be powerful. But here's the catch. You need to be okay with the outcome, whether they come back or not. Because stepping back isn't just about getting them to miss you, it's about rediscovering yourself. Now, I know what you're thinking, but if I step back, won't they just move on? It's a valid concern, but let me counter with this. If they're so quick to move on, were they genuinely invested in the first place? Stepping back doesn't make someone leave. It reveals who's willing to stay, and while that truth might sting, it's better to know now than to keep pouring your energy into someone who isn't willing to meet you halfway. Let me give you a metaphor to chew on. Imagine you're a chef preparing a gourmet meal. You've selected the finest ingredients, taken your time, and put your heart into every detail. Now, would you rush it in the microwave because someone's impatient? Absolutely not. Good things take time, and that's exactly how you should approach this shift. You're not making instant noodles, you're crafting something meaningful, and that requires patience. Stepping back also gives you the opportunity to reflect. Sometimes, when we're solely focused on someone else, we forget to check in with ourselves. Ask yourself, am I holding on because they genuinely enhance my life, or because I'm afraid of letting go? The answers might surprise you, and stepping back offers the clarity to find them. Here's where the real magic happens. When you shift your focus from them to yourself, you naturally become more magnetic. It's not about playing games or trying to manipulate the situation. It's about genuinely prioritizing your happiness, growth, and peace. When you're thriving independently, people can't help but take notice. It's like entering a room in your favorite outfit. You're not seeking validation, but your confidence radiates, and others are drawn to it. And guess what? That's when they start to feel the shift. They'll begin to wonder why you're not reaching out, why your energy feels different, and why they suddenly miss the little things you brought into their life. It's in that moment of curiosity and realization that the dynamic changes. But here's the beautiful part. By the time they feel the shift, you'll be so grounded in your own worth that their attention will feel like a bonus, not a necessity. Patience is key here. This isn't an overnight solution. It's a journey. And along the way, you'll find that stepping back isn't just about them missing you. It's about rediscovering your own value. It's about showing yourself that you can stand tall, even when the ground feels shaky. So here's your affirmation for today. I am enough, whether they see it or not. I trust the process and know that what's meant for me will find me. Write it in the comments, say it to yourself, and make it your truth. Because when you believe it, you start living it. And don't go anywhere yet, because next we'll explore how to make the most of this newfound confidence and draw not just them, but everything good in life back to you. Stay tuned, my friends. This journey is just beginning. All right, my friends, let's wrap this up. You've navigated the ups and downs, the overthinking, the late night scrolling, and maybe even the tears. But guess what? That's not where your story ends. Nope. You're not just a side character in someone else's narrative. You're the protagonist in your own journey. And this is your comeback chapter. Picture this. Your life is a movie. The opening scenes may have been filled with drama, perhaps some heartbreak, and maybe a lot of unanswered texts. But now the music is shifting, the lights are brightening, the pace is quickening, and you're stepping into the next scene with your head held high and your confidence unshakable. That's the energy we're channeling today. This is your comeback story, and trust me, the best is yet to come. Here's what I want you to do right now. Shake off the rejection like it's dust on your favorite jacket. You know the one that makes you look and feel amazing. Because let's be real, the rejection isn't about you. It's about them failing to see what's right in front of them. And honestly, that's their loss. You're stepping out, looking better than ever, and the world is going to take notice. Rejection doesn't define you, it refines you. Think of it like polishing a diamond. Every tough moment, every tear, every time you doubted yourself, it's all part of the process that's making you shine brighter than ever. And as you walk into this new chapter, those who overlooked you are going to wonder how they ever missed it. So let's flip the perspective for a second. Instead of lamenting what you've lost, consider what you've gained. Strength, resilience, wisdom. You've been through the fire and you've come out stronger. That's no small feat. And the best part? The story isn't over yet. In fact, the most exciting chapters are still ahead. Now, let's talk about your next move. This is your chance to rewrite the script. You're no longer waiting for someone to notice you. You're not chasing after validation. You're standing tall, knowing that you're enough just as you are. And when you live like that, the right people, the right opportunities, the right energy, they all come to you. It's not magic, it's alignment. Here's your challenge. Drop the phrase, "I'm back in the game," in the comments. Declare it to yourself, to me, and to the universe. Because when you say it, you're not just typing words. You're making a promise to yourself, a promise that you're done settling, done doubting, and done chasing. You're stepping into your power, and you're ready to let the world, and maybe even them, wonder what they've been missing. And hey, don't keep this energy to yourself. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs a little push to start their own comeback story. Because we're all in this together, and the more people we uplift, the better this journey becomes. Remember, folks, the best part of your story is still being written. You've got new chapters to create, new adventures to embark on, and new people to meet who will see and appreciate you for exactly who you are. So keep going, keep growing, and never forget. You're the main character, and this is your moment to shine. Let's make it count.